The new movie Here, which reunited the team from Forest Gump, just dropped in theaters. Was it good? I'll let you know. Hello, everyone. My name is Bob, and welcome to Was It Good, where I give you my movie and TV show reviews. As I said, we're going to be talking about the movie Here. Now, this is a movie that sees the reuniting of actors Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, and director Robert Zemeckis in their first project all together since Forrest Gump. So, this could be an interesting one. Now, if you've seen the movie, I'd like to know what you thought. Why don't you go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section below? Let me know. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think this was a good reuniting of this team from Forrest Gump? Really like to know what you thought. Now, if you haven't seen the movie yet, this is going to be spoiler free, but go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section below. Let me know, are you interested in watching it? As always, don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get to it. The movie Here is based on a graphic novel which sees a generational story about families and the special place they inhabit, sharing in love, loss, laughter, and life. Now, when I first saw the trailer for this, I was intrigued. You have Tom Hanks and Robin Wright and director Robert Zemeckis all coming back together. Also, the film is presented from a very unique perspective, and so I really wanted to see how this was going to turn out. Now, as I said, the film has a very unique viewpoint and it has a very interesting setting. It takes place inside of a living room from one particular angle and viewpoint. So, this is all that you see, and life is lived through this living room. And you actually see several generations of characters and their lives as they lived in this particular spot. It goes all the way back to prehistoric times, the natives, colonials, the 1940s, all the way up into modern time. And you see several generations of lives lived from this particular viewpoint. Now, the film centers on the Young family. You have Al and Rose and their son Richard, who's played by Tom Hanks, who marries Margaret, and she's played by Robin Wright. And it's their lives as they lived, and you see one particular perspective, and you see all sorts of events, whether it be birthdays and celebrations and things and holidays and all sorts of different things. And you see love, loss, laughter, all sorts of things, and it all happens from this one particular viewpoint. To add to that, the film is based on a graphic novel, and you can tell that the director and the team tried to recreate the graphic novel on film. So you'll have a particular event going on, and then all of a sudden these little windows will pop up that'll give you glimpses into a different generation's life at that particular spot. And that is done in the graphic novel, and they carried that idea over into the film. And so because of that and the perspective that you see and the setting, I ended up enjoying and appreciating the uniqueness of this film. I also really enjoyed the ending of this movie. There's a beautiful moment between Richard and Margaret, between Tom Hanks and Robin Wright's characters, that I think is really good. I really enjoyed that particular scene, and it actually brought a good feeling to my heart. So the ending I really liked. Now, despite its uniqueness and the ending, I gotta say, this film left a lot to be desired.
Huh? Huh?
This film left me puzzled in a lot of ways because it gives us snapshots into people's lives, but it doesn't really dive into them. And because of that, it's hard to get invested in the characters. Like, beyond the main family, I really didn't care what happened to any of the other generations of characters. I mean, what was I supposed to feel?
Well, that's that. On to Houston.
I mean, despite something happening bad to one of the characters, I really wasn't invested in any of them. I was just so ready to move back into the main story, and even then, it was hard to get invested into them. Tom Hanks said in an interview that a lot of the scenes were only like 2 minutes long, and so it's really hard to get invested in characters when you don't see them going anywhere else. And it's kind of cool, like I said, that you see everything from the perspective of this living room, but because you don't see them go anywhere else, you have to really nail those scenes. And because we didn't really spend any significant amount of time with the characters for long periods of time to get to know them, it was really hard to be invested in their storylines and feel anything for them when things did happen. Also, I don't think that the story itself is really that great because there's not much of a story here because we're only getting snapshots into people's lives. I guess the point that the film is trying to make is that life goes so quickly, and don't forget to live it and actually enjoy those moments and take risks and do things, because several of the characters have regrets. But the fact that it doesn't really have a cohesive narrative, it's all just kind of snapshots into people's life, it's really hard to get into a story and really follow what it is that they're trying to say. Also, I do think that the film drags, and again, that goes back to not being invested in the characters or the story. If you're not invested in either one, the film is going to kind of boring for you. And the film already had slow moments to begin with, but not being invested in either the characters or stories really didn't help that any for me. Real quick, before I get into my final thoughts, I want to remind you to go ahead and check out my other reviews. Maybe there's something you've seen or haven't yet and are interested in watching. Go ahead and check out and see what I thought about it. Also, me and a couple of my friends do have a second channel where we put on a show called Dad's Turn to Talk. This is an opportunity for three dads to get together and talk about the things that we want to talk about. And recently, we just did an interview with the production designer from the Blair Witch Project. So if you want to check out that channel, the link will be in the description below. Final thoughts. Was it good? To be honest, I was disappointed in this film. I was really looking forward to seeing Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, and director Robert Zemeckis all come back together in their first film since Forest Gump, but I really couldn't get invested in the characters or the story, and because of that, I just didn't particularly like it. The best way to describe this movie for me was that it was unique, but it's a missed opportunity. If you haven't seen it yet, you can probably wait for streaming. Now, if you're still watching this long, I'd like to thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.